Hey, what's happening? Welcome back to The Bold Perspective. On your way in the door, go ahead and touch the like button. Hit subscribe if you've never subscribed before, and touch the notification bell so you get updates when we upload new content. Let's talk. The Baltimore Ravens have hired Jesse Minter as their new head coach, as all of you know. And the question of the day is it the right hire? Well, I think it's going to take us one calendar year in order to know that. Not the context of Super Bowl or bust, not really AFC Championship, but what does the season look like game to game? And does the team improve week to week? You see, because that's really what we want for the 2026 season. Before we can talk about playoff berths and divisional championships and Super Bowl runs, we have to see if the on-field product is a representation of change from what we've seen the last two seasons. What have we seen the last two seasons? Well, we've seen a lot of inconsistency. We've seen undisciplined play. We've seen a lack of roster building. We've seen a lack of execution. We've seen a lack of game plan. We've just seen a whole myriad of things that did not produce winning. And so this change at head coach is the start of a new era. And although many expect Mentor to do a good job and to help turn around this defense, which shouldn't be that hard from what we looked like the last two seasons, what it's really going to come down to is not just a change at head coach, but a change in organizational philosophy, specifically approach to the offseason. And that's going to be the biggest change that I think that can help Mentor make this transition from DC to HC, from Los Angeles to Baltimore, is what tools will EDC put in his tool belt? Not offensive coordinator, not defensive coordinator, but players. What players will he, Mentor, be equipped with in order to change this defense, move the Baltimore Ravens back to the Ravens way? Aggression, violence, dominance. You see, when you talk about change, you can't just change your shirt and keep on old pants and call it a new outfit. You got to have the mindset to change several things that have held you back. And so it's this time of the year where trades began to be done. This is the time of the year where trades can be done from a position of power, where you're not desperate. Why? Because you have free agency that could land you a particular player. You see, the Baltimore Ravens typically do trades at the trade deadline, which kind of comes off as a place of desperation. But right now, while we are trying to help a head coach get adjusted, find his footing, build his coaching staff, EDC has to get cooking with building a roster. And so let's change the mentality and be aggressive pre-free agency. You see, we understand that any defense is going to need an edge rusher. Does not matter how great your secondary is. It does not matter if your linebackers can fly around and play sideline to sideline. If you don't have a guy or some guys who can go get the quarterback, your defense will consistently struggle, which is what we've seen in Baltimore over the last couple of seasons. And we can lean into coaching, scheme, strategy was a part of the problem with the edge rush position. Because we saw Odafe Owe, who did not do much this past season in Baltimore, go to Los Angeles under Mentor and kind of have a breakout second half of his season. And so when I'm talking about being in pursuit of somebody, I'd say let's be aggressive and go get an edge rusher who's proven, an edge rusher who needs to be rescued out of a desperate situation. Let's go and get Max Crosby. And if you were to ask Max Crosby, does he want to be rescued? Does he want somebody, a team, to come and helicopter in and rescue him out of Las Vegas? He would say yes. And so it might as well be the Baltimore Ravens. You see, that would give Jesse Minter a great start on his head coaching endeavor, to have a premier pass rusher who can help relieve pressure off of Travis Jones, who can help Roquan Smith and whoever his running mate will be in 2026 get back to business, and shoot, for goodness sakes, help out the secondary from having to cover so long. And in all honesty, one of the greatest benefactors of a Max Crosby trade would be Mike Green, a guy who will have somebody in-house to teach, to mold, to challenge, to charge him to unlock all of his past rushing skills. And I think that'll be a benefit for Jesse Minter too. If he can do the same thing for Mike Green that he did for Odafe Owe, that will serve the Baltimore Ravens well. So back to the point. If we're going to make change, then let's make change. Let's be aggressive in the trade market, and let's go get that pass rusher. All right? One more major change to the Baltimore Ravens philosophy this offseason, since we're starting a new era, is what we do in free agency. So let's say that we don't go get Max Crosby because we know that Eric DeCosta is pretty stingy with draft picks. Then we need to have two main guys on our go-get board. Same position. It either needs to be Cincinnati Bengals, Trey Hendrickson, or Philadelphia Eagle, Jalen Phillips. I think these are the best two pass rushers on the board in free agency, and I think we have to be aggressive enough to put our name on one of them. We cannot go into the draft hoping that we pull out a edge rusher at number 14 because we're in the same situation we would have been in last year, dependent on young talent, unproven talent to rescue the pass rush. And for goodness sakes, don't bring me Khalil Mack and say, we upgraded. Don't bring me Jadeveon Clowney and say we've upgraded. I don't want to hear that. I want somebody who can go get the quarterback. Now, there is another trade, if we jump back to the previous point, that previously could have happened before John Harbaugh took the job in New York. But I don't think there's a chance in NFL history that John Harbaugh allows any type of trade to go on with the Baltimore Ravens. I don't think there's no solids being done from the Giants context. So those are the three guys, man, I think that we have to be aggressive enough to go and get. Max Crosby, Trey Hendrickson, because you don't have to give up any draft capital, or Jalen Phillips for the same reason, no draft capital. But it's time to turn the old pages. Matter of fact, let's just close the old book and have a level of aggression, whether it's by trade or free agency. That's going to be a change that's needed to match the change that we've initiated at head coach. If you want this guy to be successful, get him someone who can go get the quarterback. You guys let me know what you think. I think that OC is going to be important. DC is going to be important. But it's not going to be as important as the tools you give Jesse Minter to work with on the field. I'm your guy Boulanger. And until next time, I'm out.